You were also asking how many dates before sleeping with a guy.
Yes.
So what do you think, Violet?
I don't know. That's why I was wondering, like, when you're dating, how
what
many
do you
dates?
do?
I've never really dated.
Well, you've had sexual partners, right?
Yes, but it's always been geared towards my sexual exploring. So I'm always just getting people, like my photographer. He's someone that I have a close connection with. We work together, but it's not like we're dating. Like, he's married.
Okay. Wait, whoa.
Wait,
You
brought
hold
this
on.
up 4 hours.
You're who you sleep with, by the way.
Sometimes, yeah.
You sleep with your photographer who is married.
And I assume
Yes.
his wife knows.
Yes, they're in an open relationship.
Because marriage
they're-
doesn't
Oh,
mean
okay.
anything anymore.
That's why I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married.
But it's to you.
Sacramental
Like, it has to
marriage.
be
Checkmate,
the
Mary.
same
Checkmate, Mary.
like, just because just because people in your neighborhood like don't celebrate Christmas doesn't mean you're not going to celebrate it. You still have to
I
keep the
celebrate
tradition
Kwanzaa,
alive
have
in
you
your
know.
household.
I celebrate Kwanzaa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please.
I'm so sorry.
Please.
I'm just
Okay, Violet.
thinking everyone celebrates
Please be considerate
Christmas.
of people's whatever. Okay, never mind. There's other cultures.
I'm sorry.
at this
I really
table.
didn't mean to offend
Please
you.
don't.
What is this about Christmas?
He was saying like, oh, I'm not going to get married because everybody takes it so.
Because Santa's gonna take half my presents.
No, I'm just saying like, just because everyone else is doing something one way doesn't mean you have to do it the other way, obviously. Everyone kind of knows that.
Mrs. Claus is gonna divorce.
So,
Santa.
how long
She's gonna take
should you
half the
wait before
elves.
sleeping with a guy? Go
Yes,
ahead.
please let me know.
When there's a commitment, like you're in a relationship. So I mean, that just depends how long.
3 months? 2 months? 1
It
month?
depends.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's a number. Like, I don't think there's a number. I think it just depends where
Oh.
you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It depends on like your comfortability with them. If you really trust them, I mean, go for it. I can't really say much in this topic because I've never dated around or anything like that. But I mean,
You've hooked up with guys, right?
No.
Zero?
zero.
Zero?
Zero.
Did not know.
Yeah, I'm.
Congrats.
Oh,
I
thanks.
I guess. I don't know.
No, I don't really fuck around like that. I just kind of put myself first, like I was saying when we were talking about the whole dating thing. But yeah, I don't really know on this aspect. I guess it just really depends on the person.
Word? What about you?
Depends. I just agree with
Just
her.
depends.
Yeah, same. I think it just depends. Definitely not like after the first date.
Here's a better question. What's the fastest that you've ever, and I don't know, Mary, if you want to answer the first one.
The first
How
one?
long should
Okay.
you wait? Is it
I mean,
married?
no offense to any of you because you're only saying this since you've had no guidance, but like all of the shit that you're saying, it's just the confusing. Everyone makes rules for themselves, shit that gets people hurt these days, and leads women into situations where they're giving up their purity to a guy who doesn't actually care about them and isn't willing to commit to them. So the only real commitment in my mind is marriage. That's my perspective. Also, I believe in sacramental marriage as I'm religious, which most people don't. So that is when you should have a sexual relationship, is when there's a commitment, which is marriage.
But even in marriage, like what she was talking about, they're married, but they have an open relationship, which means even though there's a ring,
Yeah, that's
there's
not
a
a real
wedding.
marriage. That's a joke.
So your opinion on real marriages is
It's a sacrament,
okay.
not just a contract
Okay.
or like a roommate situation. Like that guy and his wife, that sounds like people who are like roommates or like friends or something.
Yeah, there's definitely
That's not
a
marriage.
common thing with that. Obviously, open marriages, swinging, and stuff like that. What do you guys think about open marriages and swinging?
No.
Haram.
You're not.
Haram.
It
Most
would never
sane
be
people
for
think it's
me, but I don't
disgusting.
judge people. Like, if that's what works for them, that's,
Yeah.
you know, I don't care.
In the end, it never really works. So a
Not
lot
gonna-
of
it would
open
never work for
relationships
me.
fail.
No, it would never work for me.
Wait, what's that?
I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, obviously, I'm around people in those kind of relationships, but
The
personally,
guy who you're currently fucking is in that situation.
Right. I'm not committed to him. He's committed to someone else, and
Well,
that's
he's
their
not really.
relationship.
In what way is he committed?
He's not really
to his
committed to
wife?
her.
But they're married. I'm not married to him. That's their decision. So I'm not denying that that's a thing. But when I get married, I would like to not be in an open relationship.
But you're kind of okay with it right now with your current situation.
Yeah, she's okay with it. That's her situation. And he's okay with it.
Zero self-respect.
Were they
her
married
situation.
before you met him?
No.
So they got married while you
They're
were
open.
working with him?
It's open. It's open, I guess, Do you know that's an open relationship? It is an open relationship.
What about
No.
She's
swinging?
in-
What do you guys think about that? Like, have you ever
Swinging?
I
known
think if we're not
anyone to
okay
be like
with
a
open
swinger
relationships,
couple?
We're probably not okay with swinging.
What
I've
swinging?
never known anybody to be.
What is the difference
Yeah,
between
what is-
swinging and an open relationship?
I think swinging, you're all participating, like, together. There's like clubs and
That's even worse.
and
honestly.
events and
Yeah, I
stuff.
think
Yeah,
that's
it seems
probably
very crazy.
gosh,
You're
like,
gonna
get
just
a real
swing
hobby.
partners.
Like,
Partners, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you did that, you shouldn't be in a relationship in the first
Yeah.
place.
Okay. What about you? What do you think?
Me same. Like I don't really have an opinion on it. Like if you want to do it, do it. It's just up to the person, I would not. Though.
Mm-hmm.
So this came up, just changing topics here a little bit. This came up in one of our previous shows, and would you guys object a guy not wanting to date a transgender woman?
Mary
Wait,
choked on
say
her
that
water.
Object a guy that doesn't want to.
Would you object? Like, do you think it's wrong for a guy to not want to date a transgender woman?
It's a personal opinion. It's a personal preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really depends on who they are, and, like what
Okay.
they want.
So if a guy was just like, yeah, I don't date transgender women, like that.
Well, if
That's
that's
fine.
what
I
they
can
want,
respect
then
that. Okay.
I guess so. But they can also be like, oh, we don't click, or maybe they do click, and then it's like the thing going back to what we were talking about. Like it just really depends on how well they like mix with this person.
No, but without even, like, they just wouldn't even give a transgender woman a chance. So there is no opportunity for there to be a click or not. It's just
Then that's just
immediate deal breaker.
That's a personal preference.
I think this happens well, obviously it's not the same, but it happens a lot with girls. They're like, I can't date guys shorter than 6 foot or whatever. I won't even give them a chance.
It's probably a little different.
really big.
No, but
difference
no.
than
A
Yeah.
woman with a dick is a little
being a
different.
I mean, I don't know. It's a preference too. It's all about the
Yeah,
preferences.
I just think she means like having a closed mindset like that, kind of like cutting
Well,
all those people out.
yeah, like I wouldn't even
like-
consider it.
Yeah, but
Do you-
like
so do you object to that, though, to having the closed mindset of,
I don't really care. They're gonna make their own decisions. Like if they are really against like transgender, like dating transgender women, so be it. Like you are inclined to your own personal opinion, and you can have that.
but your view of it, do you think that it's closed-minded or they're not being open because they just off rip, they just wouldn't want to date somebody who's transgender?
I mean, I definitely think it's cutting off some of your options. Like when people say like you have like a type or whatever, I feel like that's really narrowing down the kind of people you can meet because of this thing you have in your head like as a type. So I feel like people should just be open for anything, and that being one of them is maybe you'll end up finding love with a transgender woman.
Okay,
It just
Wait,
type
wait,
is like
wait,
a
wait,
guy
just-
who refuses
hold
to
on,
date
wait.
a girl with a certain color of hair, not a guy who refuses to date guys.
but they aren't a guy.
Biological
don't-
males.
But this is
They don't
YouTube, so I can't
qualify.
even say what I really think. So never mind.
What do you think? Like, do you think it's closed-minded? Or is it just a valid
I mean,
preference?
I think it's valid, just how everybody's preferences are valid,
Sure, no, but I think what I'm trying to get at, you acknowledge that people are entitled to having their preferences,
Yeah.
but do you think it is a superficial preference? Do you think it's an unfair preference or an unreasonable or maybe a bit more closed-minded?
No, I do think it's valid.
Okay.
Yeah. I
What
think
about
it's
you?
valid.
Do you have any?
I don't really have a comment on it. I think it like however you identify with your sexuality too, like depends if you I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really have a comment.
So you have no issue with a guy who just like, would not date a transgender woman.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. It's how you identify with your sexuality too, you know. Because if you're considered straight, you know, I feel I don't. I'm not very like. I don't know a lot, so I don't
Sure.
want to like say the wrong thing without knowing, you know.
Mhm.
So I really just think it's how you identify.
Sure. Okay. For example, I would not date a transgender woman.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with transgender people, but I would not date a transgender woman.
Yeah.
I don't care if that's just an immediate no for me.
Do you want to tell us why?
Well, I have a genitalia preference for one.
What
and
if they have a surgically produced?
it would still
Neo-vagina.
sure. Well, it would still be a genitalia preference because that's not a actual vagina.
Oh, they can get them really realistic. I heard
It's not.
these days,
It's
Brian.
no, no. Also,
I heard that
I'm attracted to females.
they have the technology.
Well, yeah, but I mean the other thing is I'm just attracted to females. So, yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. You can't change into a female.